It was early in the summer of 2011 when my friend asked, "Do you want to go to AnimeExpo with us?" The last few months I had heard stories about the convention. My friends and their family had gone consecutively for the last few years. I had never been to LA before, or really that far out of Humboldt. Truth is, I really didn't know what to expect. We were leaving on our trip at midnight the day before the convention started. We had packed all our things and each other into the van, and in the cover of night set out on our journey. My friend's dad, who was driving us, worked night shifts at a hospital and was all but uncomfortable with driving late. To be honest, I spent a large majority of the trip asleep. Not long after leaving, I fell asleep. When there was a bathroom break, I was still sleeping. When we finally left the tall trees and long fields, I slept. And I finally awoke just as we were pulling into the parking garage of our hotel. This signaled the beginning of the convention, day 0. It was somewhere around 12 in the afternoon when we arrived in the middle of LA. Coming from the frigid north of Humboldt County, nothing could have prepared me for the heat. It was 98 degrees in the beating sun, compounded with a cramped line that extended for what seemed like miles, but really only went on past the end of the block that the main convention building covered. There were hundreds of people shuffling slowly forward. After approximately 4 hours of waiting to claim our badges, the sun had fallen slowly behind the building. The temperature must have dropped at least 10 degrees instantly. Fortunately, not soon after, we made our way inside. Now, I've never been in an airport, but I would describe the badge service as very similar. The only thing that were missing were metal detectors. By the time we all got our badges and processed, we were ready for dinner. Since we couldn't all agree where to eat, everyone decided to split up. One friend and I really just wanted to explore the area, and after wandering around about 30 minutes, we came across a tiny sandwich shop, and I got my first taste of inner-city nightlife. After we ordered and grabbed our food, on our way out, I couldn't help but notice what I can only describe as a scruffy man who was spitting some rhymes to his sandwich. Really, we didn't stick around to hear what he had to say about his potato chips. The first day of the convention, we woke up bright and early. The opening ceremonies began at 8 a.m. sharp and continued for the rest of the day. When we stepped in the main hall, I was thrown off. I thought the amount of people standing in line when we showed up yesterday was a lot. Stepping into that building was packed from wall to wall with tons of different people, and I was excited for whatever brought them there. The opening ceremonies did a lot to get us hyped up for the convention that we were about to enter, and it wasn't long until my friends pulled me away inside to the dealer's hall. The dealer's hall and artist alley were quite amazing. It was like a huge online store packed into one giant room. They had things ranging from anime DVDs, manga, pillows, costumes, clothing, accessories, art, swords, and much more. I tried my best to conserve my money, but eventually I caught the fever. I had probably spent well over $150 in no more than 2 hours to fuel my addiction. Luckily, I made it out that day with most of my wallet intact. Day 2 had begun a little earlier than the previous. My friends and I decided to try our hands at cosplaying. There's me. It was a lot of fun, and even more fun to watch. It made me feel a bit like a celebrity, being stopped every so often by people who want to take a picture with you. I was both jealous and amazed by how good some of the other people's costumes looked. A lot of them looked like their drawn counterparts that stepped right out of the screen to come to the event. Having had some time to talk with some of the people, I found out that the people behind these costumes weren't quite as crazy as you'd think. Some of them were pretty chill. I mean, I guess I was one of them. And after hours spent roaming around booths and presentation halls, we had gotten our fill of the second day of AnimeExpo. Although the convention technically ran 4 days, the third was considered the real last day of AnimeExpo. Anything that we had missed out on up to this point was bound to be experienced. One of the bigger events that day, the Anime Talent Show, was one where all kinds of different people in the community, such as these guys, go up and present their skits and have fun with the whole theater. After a few more hours of exploring, my friend pointed out that we were just around the corner from a video game tournament. Excited, we entered a room with walls covered by televisions and people stacked in front of them playing games. Right when we came in, they were setting up registration for a Super Smash Bros. Tournament. Coincidentally, my friend's game of choice. By no means were any of us professionals, but we had definitely put in our hours playing this game and didn't hesitate to sign up. It was quite a wait until our names showed up on the list. We took our time, each carefully deciding which characters we were going to take into battle. I'm not sure how many people were in the tournament, but for the first round, none of my friends were playing against each other. One after the next, though, each of them got knocked out in their first combat. And I'm not sure if it was by luck, or maybe a little bit of skill, but I happened to make it into the second round. It was another long wait for the next round to start. The fights were best of 3, one-on-one with no interruption. And when me and my opponent greet each other, I really didn't know what to expect, but nothing could have prepared me for this. This guy was like 30 years old and looked like he could split a log in half with his arms, but he's also one of the nicest people I met there. And we both took our time and chose our characters, and it was then at the same moment we paused. He picked my character, the one I always played with. Nobody chose him, he wasn't even any good in the professional scene. Maybe he watched my last game and knew, and was just trying to tip his hat to me, but I was anything but angry about it. We had intense competition. After a short first round, he knocked me out. From that moment on, I knew I didn't stand a chance, but I didn't give up. With an even quicker second round and some luck on my side, I was able to get one knockout blow on him. The score was tied, down to the wire. This next round decided who continued on. I did everything I could to follow him, blow for blow, move for move, each of us holding our own. And then suddenly I stopped. I looked over at him for a second with a glance as he lowered his hands quickly, and then before I could even look back at the screen, he had knocked me out. He had come out on top. This guy clearly was on a whole nother level for me and my friends, so I really wasn't surprised. But it was my first state of professional video games, and I could say I enjoyed it, and I have him to thank for that. We didn't stick around long for the final day of the convention. Mostly people were just trying to clean up, and most dealers were trying to sell as much as they can so they don't have to load it back up. And we left fairly early, looking forward to the long journey home. Although it wasn't exactly extravagant, going on this trip with my friends was quite the adventure, and I'll never forget all the people I met along the way.